This afternoon, for those of you who want to join us, we'll be doing some Hebrew grammar. And so I want to encourage you to join with us. We'll be talking about different things, but give you an example of some of the things that we'll be focusing on. In this particular psalm, you notice that it starts off that Elohim. Elohim is our refuge and strength. One of the titles for God, we know it's a title because you can put the definite article on this and say Ha Elohim. So it's a title, and we know that it's grammatically plural. But the key is, whenever you face Elohim in the text, that you look at the verbs to see if they're singular or plural, and you look at the pronouns around it to see if they're singular or plural. So, like Genesis 1, Bereshit bara Elohim, but bara is third masculine singular, so we know that Elohim, even though it's grammatically plural, is referring to the third masculine singular, bara. So it's governed by the verbs and the pronouns. Then later on in this particular psalm, we have another one of we have the name of the Lord. As you look in verse 8, and that is the tetragrammaton, the four-letter name of God. And what's interesting about the tetragrammaton is that it at times will have different vowel pointing underneath it. The primary vowel pointing is with a shavah and a kametz. Now here's what's interesting. The Masoretes wanted us, when we came to the tetragrammaton, to say, and when we saw the Yod He Vav He, to say Adonai. But normally the name Adonai has a patak on the last noon. Well, in order to tip us off that we were dealing with the Adonai, they would put a kametz. They changed the short vowel patak to a long vowel kametz. And that was their tip-off. They did this numerous times, which is why on the tetragrammaton you'll see underneath the yod a shavah, and then underneath the hey or the vav, you'll see a kametz. Now, when we get to compound names, like you have in Genesis 15:2. You have actually Adonai with the kametz, and then you have Yod He Vav He. Then anybody's saying Adonai, Adonai. So they said, well, what we'll do is we'll put the vowel pointings of Elohim under the tetragrammaton. So that you'll say Adonai Elohim. Okay. So we'll show you this as we go through and look at how the biblical text is working and how the grammar is working. I do want to call your attention to this, though, two things. Notice the refrain in Psalm 46. It says, the Lord of armies, Sivaot, is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. And then it ends with the same refrain. The Lord of armies, Sivaot, is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. And so you have this refrain here. And we've said before that Sivaot means armies. It's the idea of God having an army on his side. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later. And we know that's the case because it says in verse 9, he makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. So here is a warrior, which is what Sivaot means. He's a man of war, according to Exodus 15:3. He's a man of war. Knowing that he has an army behind him, we'll talk a little bit about that later on. But notice the refrain in the Psalms. That's what you want to hone in on, is these times where they repeat themselves. And this is the tetragrammaton with this Sivaot, with this armies, and it's repeated twice. Okay, I love how verse 10 starts. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. And that particular language is very similar to what you see promised in Psalm 2 at the very end to this Davidic king, and also what you see promised to David in 2 Samuel chapter 7, that he would have a throne that would be forever, and that eventually all the nations would come under his governance. This is really the goal of what God is doing. The overarching picture is the reclamation of this world for his kingdom. why Yeshua, when he comes, what does he say? Seek first the kingdom, pray that the kingdom will come. This reclamation of this world for my dominion, this is what I'm all about. For a lot of reasons it went sideways and went south, but I'm reclaiming it, and part of that reclamation will include a battle. This is why I've got an army. This is why I'm a man of war. This is why I'm the Lord of armies. And one day, everyone will have to bend the knee. Everyone will have to come and realize who I am. In the meantime, he has the power to destroy the spear, to destroy the chariot. All mechanisms of war have no chance with him because he is the Lord of armies. And we're going to see another one of those today as we look at a little bit of Exodus. Again, this idea of one who is capable and does destroy. We'll talk about that in our time together. But I think Psalm 46 is rich. But one of the encouragements as we think about Hebrew is join us in the afternoons. I think you'll learn some things, and I think it'll be kind of fun to go through the text and watch how the text guides us along and gives us insights that you wouldn't otherwise get with English translations.
I got a question.
Certainly.
To go back, sorry if I missed my opportunity to ask, but going back to the vowel pointings under Adonai, is that where the pronunciation Adonai comes from?
Yeah. So what my understanding of how we got to where we are on part of this is, by the way, I checked the Leningrad Codex, which is the codex primarily responsible for most of what we consider our translations of the Hebrew Scripture. There's about five recensions that you want to check. You want to check the Samaritan Pentateuch. You want to check the Septuagint. Although Septuagint's tough because it's Greek, so you're dealing with you're having to transpose it back into Hebrew. You want to check the Dead Sea Scrolls, and you want to check the Leningrad Codex, which is the basis for what we have now. Also, we have the Cairo Geniza text, but the problem with the Cairo Geniza text is that it was burned. It was in a fire, and so we only have the prophets and the writings. We don't have the Torah. The first part of the scroll was burned, or the codex. So those are the ones you want to check. Now, what happened is, because if you look at the way in all your wherever they give you the vowel pointings, underneath the yod will be a shavah. Underneath, and the reason you have to do that is because it's not a guttural. Aleph is a guttural with Adonai. It's a guttural. Aleph is a guttural. So it takes. This is kind of complicated, but anyway. So you have the composite shavah with a batak. You can't put that underneath. So you put the shavah, then you put the o for Adonai, the o for, and then you put the kametz, which is interesting. It has the kametz, which is kind of cool, because it was going with Adonai. Okay, so if you put those together into English, you get Jehovah. Okay, you get a Jehovah. Okay, which would be, most of the grammars take to mean a composite of the consonants of Yod He Vav He with the vowels of Adonai. When in Genesis 15:2, for instance, when we have a composite, what's interesting is under the vowels pointing underneath the Yod He and the Vav He there are for Elohim, and they put the Segol and they put the Hirik underneath to say, we don't want you saying Adonai, Adonai. We want you saying Adonai Elohim in composites, and we have a number of composites, probably a good 20 or so. So then they say, place the vowel pattern of Elohim underneath it so that you're saying this. Bottom line is, in traditional Jewish thinking, they didn't, from the Masoretes, coming all the way through the first century, they didn't want us trying to pronounce it. Okay, it's 6,800 plus times. I'm not against somebody trying to pronounce it. That's not my thing. But I'm just saying, as we look at the vowel patterns, there are different vowel patterns underneath it, and for different reasons. I think they give us those reasons. They try to tell us why they did this. So normally, if you're just going to spell Adonai, you would spell it with a patak underneath that fountain, or with a pronominal ending, my Lord, or just Lord. Okay, so but we'll get into that. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to watch the different spellings as we're going through. Compound, by itself, and then with other words attached to it. So tetragrammaton, 4 letters, tetra 4, grammaton. So the yod, the hey, the vav, the hey. And by the way, I've argued this, and it was interesting. Nehemiah Gordon and I had lunch, and it was funny, we were talking about, I said, the meaning of the name. Let's get, what is the meaning of the name? And it goes back to Exodus chapter 3. It means, I will be with you. It's the shortened form of I will be with you, which is covenantal in so many ways. Do you agree with me? Ehyeh, asher ehyeh, means I will be with you. Indeed, I will be with you. All you need to know is I'll be with you. And all the way through Hebrew scriptures, he keeps saying this to his people because it's covenantal language. By that I mean this. If you look at ancient Near Eastern covenants, 2 individuals would make a covenant with each other, usually kings, or suzerain vassals, but oftentimes kings. And the one would say to the other, if you need me, I will be with you. If you have economic problems, I will be with you. If you have financial, or military problems, I will be with you. And so this with you language is covenantal for I'll provide for you what you need based on the covenant we've established. So this is why you see Yeshua keeps saying, and Yah keeps saying, I'll be with you. He says to Joshua at the beginning of Joshua 1, I'll be with you. I'll be with you. Middle of Psalm 23, he is with me. Your rod, your staff, they're with me. Okay. And how does Yeshua leave this earth? Lo, I am with you always, even at the end of the age. That is, we can sum it up this way. I will continue to be covenantally faithful. That's his point.